There have been a lot of times over the past few months where I begin to wonder if the Trump campaign is actively self-sabotaging on purpose, and last night was no different. But the best part is, a lot of these stunts are beginning to reflect not only in the polling numbers, but also in the on-the-ground early voting numbers and in the exit polls in key swing states. I think people are beginning to realize that with every single event Trump holds, with every sentence Trump says, he gets more apocalyptic, more divisive, and more deranged than the last sentence. And you know, this video isn't even about his Liz Cheney comments. It's not even really about the Puerto Rico comments. It's more about their effect on the electorate. How are voters interpreting this before they go out to vote? And with 4 days left, we have a lot of interesting data to break down. And I like to mix that with some of my personal anecdotes, some of the people I've talked to over the past few days, some of my friends from high school. You know, we have a lot to break down and no time to waste. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. And let's start off with this clip just posted by Kamala Harris's campaign. They always turn these events into ads the next morning, and this says to-do list versus enemies list.
Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Unlike Donald Trump, I don't believe people who disagree with me are the enemy. He wants to put them in jail. I'll give them a seat at the table.
The bigger problem is the enemy from within. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Here is my pledge to you. I pledge to seek common ground and common sense solutions to make your life better. I am not looking to score political points. I am looking to make progress. I pledge to listen to experts, to those who will be impacted by the decisions I make.
That is a real leader right there, and it comes in stark contrast with the way that Donald Trump talks about the electorate and even talks about Democrats, talks about 50% of the country, and they get mad at Biden's garbage comment. Give me a break. But now, let's dig into the statistics. This first article reads, Trump is lagging in the early vote with seniors in Pennsylvania, a huge red flag for the GOP. And I always have to preface these videos by saying, please actually go get out there and vote, even beyond you voting, because I know all of you guys are going to vote. I know you guys are going to vote. Get your friends and family to vote. I just got 2 or 3 friends to go to the polling station over the next day or two because they told me they would. They promised me after I asked them. This article reads, Democrats account for about 58% of the votes cast by seniors so far in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is lagging Kamala Harris in Pennsylvania early voting with a critical and once reliably Republican constituency, seniors. It's a warning sign for the former president that reflects early vote data and polling across the battlegrounds after Republicans won the senior vote in each of the last 5 presidential elections, and they likely will win the senior vote again. It's definitely possible, but I think a lot of seniors, along with people that are my age too, understand the threat that Donald Trump poses to our very institutions. Older people tend to appreciate our norms, our rule of law, law and order, and the Republican Party is anything but the party of law and order nowadays. Imagine being a 70-year-old person who has seen the peaceful transfer of power, I don't even know how many times at that point, and then you see it get broken, get delayed for the first time. That has to be a lot more harrowing than a 22-year-old seeing the peaceful transfer of power broken the first time they're paying attention to politics, if you get what I'm saying. In Pennsylvania, where voters over the age of 65 have cast nearly half of the early ballots, registered Democrats account for about 58% of votes cast by seniors compared to 35% for Republicans. Now, we don't know who these people are voting for. We don't know if they would have voted on election day anyways, or if there's a big turnout the vote scheme by certain organizations, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think we're all panicking, so it's nice to see numbers like this. It's nice. I'd rather we have these numbers than Republicans have these numbers. That's despite both parties having roughly equal numbers of registered voters age 65 and older. Remember, again, 58% Democratic to 35% Republican. The data is in line with polling in the state that has shown Trump shedding support among older voters. According to a Fox News poll of Pennsylvania, Trump is running 5 percentage points behind Harris among voters ages 65 and over. If that's actually true, that is game over. If that's actually true, it's game over for Democrats, and it's an unexpected reason for optimism. If that is true, along with some of these numbers coming out about women voting early or women splitting for Kamala at massive margins, it is game over. Matt McDermott posted on Twitter just this morning, November 1st, polls released in the past 12 hours. We are in that home stretch where it's going to be polling. Make sure you have post notifications on. I want more post notifications on so you guys don't miss a video going into this election. Michigan, VP Harris up 3, 48% to 45%. Michigan, Harris up 3 again, 51% to 48%. Again, remember, if she's above that 51% threshold, that means it's a win. It's an automatic win if the poll is right. Pennsylvania, Harris +2, Harris +2. Two polls came out in the past 12 hours, both pretty high quality. A Marist and a SoCal poll showing VP Harris up 50% to 48% Trump. Wisconsin, 50% to 48% Harris. And Nevada, 49% to 48% Harris. We don't even need Nevada at this point. If these first three polls are true, we don't even need Nevada to win. Of course, we want a blowout, but right now, I just want a win. And some breaking news, Alan Lichtman, the creator of the 13 Keys, just released his 2024 Electoral College prediction. And right here it shows Harris winning 283 to Trump's 236, and 19 are unsure. 19 doesn't even matter to Lichtman, and that's Pennsylvania. He's saying that Pennsylvania might not even matter because Harris has a path to victory through Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, and Georgia. But the thing is, if Georgia is going blue, Pennsylvania is going blue at this point. So we might as well have just added Pennsylvania because all of the swing states tend to correlate one way. Statistically speaking, the swing states tend to either go one way totally, either fully blue or fully red. It's very rare that they split up. They didn't do that in 2016 nor in 2020. Now, I have some more great polling news, but I do want to watch this clip of Eric Trump talking about the campaign rally and the Puerto Rico joke, and they're wondering why they're rapidly losing voters.
Comedians in the country, right? Has been on SNL a million times, has done
Yes.
every roast of Tom Brady and all these guys go out there. And in a warm-up act, he makes a joke, right? And the joke clearly didn't go over well, right? But this is a comedian that has absolutely nothing to do with the campaign, has nothing to do with our family. I've personally never met the guy. I don't think my father's met the guy, whatever. He was doing a warm-up act, and that's what these guys do. They do warm-up acts. They make people...
Listen, if he's speaking at your campaign rally, if he's the opener at your campaign rally, he necessarily has something to do with your campaign, not to mention the proximity to the election. It was, 10 days, 9 days before the election? Yes, that guy is officially reflecting your campaign, and it's a perfect example of the Trump world refusing to take accountability whenever anything goes wrong. Watching all these clips is giving me a flashback to COVID because Donald Trump keeps saying, I take no accountability, none of it's my fault, I didn't even know the guy was there. Dude, if you're the CEO of a company and somebody's speaking at the company event and they just strip naked in front of everybody, that reflects poorly on you, the CEO. You can't just say you had no clue, especially if you're speaking 30 minutes after said naked guy. And Eric Trump can play defense all he wants, but Puerto Rican, Pennsylvania voters are not happy. Take a listen.
That island mean a lot to me, and not only to me, to all us Puerto Ricans that live here in the mainland.
Jean Marie Lugo has lived in Philadelphia for 20 years. She says she was leaning toward voting for Trump until now.
It was a day that changed everything. I finally said, no, I have to be in the right side of the history.
It's very, very interesting how undecided voters think, because here's an anecdotal story that actually tracks on her last sentence. I have to be on the right side of history. So, if you guys have been watching my videos pretty frequently, I always talk about this group chat I have with a bunch of Trump-supporting friends. And they're not even Trump-supporting, they're more Trump-sympathetic, as most young men are. Not many of the young men out there that are voting for Trump are actively like, yeah, MAGA. They're more just like, I like the guy who had lower prices and my parents like Trump. So, the point is, let me know in the comment section below if you've heard me talk about this group chat with my Trump-supporting friends, plus a few of my liberal friends. We're always arguing. It's a tale as old as time. It's very normal to be arguing with your friends and family about politics as the election gets closer, but one of my friends who is voting for Trump solely due to immigration, even though he lives in Indiana, just texted in the group chat today a screenshot of LeBron James' ad that he posted. And the LeBron James ad, let me pull it up right here, is a compilation of all of the Trump campaign's terrible comments. And he said, what are we even talking about here? When I think about my kids and my family and how they'll grow up, the choice is clear to me. Vote Kamala Harris. And my friend, who was right about to vote Trump, literally today or tomorrow, he was going to go early vote Trump, texted texted in the group chat this morning, actually, I think I'm going to choose the side of love. And it's a very interesting insight into undecided voters, right? Like, he didn't know any of the crazy stuff that Trump had said. I mean, I had told them 1,000 times. I send videos of Trump all the time, but it didn't really click until it came from LeBron James. He's a big LeBron James fan. So that shows the power of celebrity outreach. But I mean, let's watch this.
All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy. That's one of my buddies. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
No, I'm not a racist. They're taking black jobs now. The whole country's going to be like, it'll be like Detroit. A lot of it's about the genes, isn't it? Don't you believe? They're poisoning the blood of our country. Troublemaker. These are troublemakers. Look, I love the old days, you know? Do you know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. Now, if you had one really violent day, like one rough hour.
Incredibly powerful imagery right here, and it comes at a time when everybody is beginning to vote. I am glad that LeBron James has kind of held back, not said much, and then boom, 3 or 4 days before the election starts to post stuff. I guess that shows the power of waiting. This article reads, more than half of active Georgia voters have cast a ballot with 1 day of early voting left to go. Friday, November 1st, is the final day of the early voting period. This right here reads, Thursday, October 31st, marked the 17th day of early voting for the November 5th presidential election. On Thursday, Georgia voters exceeded 50% statewide turnout among active voters, with 3.65 million Georgians having cast ballots, 3.42 million of those casting the ballots early. On day 17 of early voting in previous years, it wasn't the same. In 2018, it was 1.4 million. 2020, 2.3 million during the pandemic. 2022, 1.9 million. That brings us to 2024. 3.65 million voters. And I do want to point out there have been demographic shifts within Florida. All of this being said, none of this matters. This platform that we've built, this community that we've built, only has an impact, only keeps its spark if we go out and vote and we actually mobilize. Not only you guys listening, but make sure your friends and family are going out to vote. I've done so much work in this group chat with my Trump supporting friends, and one of them finally switched, mainly due to LeBron James, but I would like to think that our hundreds of conversations had something to do with creating the permission structure. If you guys agree, if you appreciate what I do, drop a like, subscribe, have a great rest of your day, and peace out.